morning. I'm the Reverend Kevin Tarsa. Thank you for being here. It's great to be with you on this gloriously wet autumnal October morning with the gift of Linda Snyder at the piano for the second time. Yeah. Building new ways always begins right where we are. As we prepare for this next hour together, let's take a moment to release ourselves from the urgent call of our cell phones. Truly, if you're not certain you've turned it off, now's a great time to look and just double check. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. And let's set the tone for the quality of our time together by investing in the quality of our presence to the people who are here this morning, in this room, in the chanting room, in the Zoom room, and in the future even, by getting ready to make room in our awareness and our hearts for each other. I invite you to let a deep breath fill your lungs. And then to ready yourself, maybe steel yourself, some of us, for a moment or two of active interaction. And now to bring as much of you as is available today, to say hello to each other with warmth and kindness, and to help everyone here feel as welcome as possible. Now's our chance. I invite you to say hello to the people that are in your vicinity.
It is with compassion that we take time to acknowledge that we dwell on land that was never seeded by the Nisenan after 10,000 years. Is it with humility or commitment to help restore their heritage, culture, and rights? It may be different for each of us. With that in mind, we place on our altar this basket of acorns from the black oak tree, committing ourselves to supporting the Nisenan in their efforts to stabilize their people and restore their tribal sovereignty.
Maureen McNair offers our chalice lighting words this morning, and when she finishes, I'll ask who wants to light the chalice this morning.
Thank you, Kevin. To Care Without Drowning by Reverend Michelle Collins. Some days the world's pain floods through us like water through a broken dam, every headline, every cry of distress becoming our own. We come here thirsty for wisdom, to care without drowning, to love without losing ourselves in the undertow of the other's sorrow. Come, let us seek together the solid foundation from which true compassion flows.
Who would like to light the chalice this morning, the symbol of this tradition, with support from Gail? Oh, we have a lighter. Excellent, excellent. Gail will help show you where the matches are. And there's a little light already started. Thank you very much for lighting the chalice. I loved lighting candles in church when I was young. My parents had to stop us from lighting a few too many candles in church. It's not a box today, it's a bowl, and it's got they're labeled. Oh, kind of like a trick-or-treat bowl, sort of. I wonder what's going to happen with this and what these things mean. But I'd be glad to ask later and find out. I wonder if someone would like to take this up to Kids Connection today. I see someone. While we would love to sing you on your way with this little light of mine.
Good morning, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Community of the Mountains right here in Grass Valley, California. I'm Gail Vaughan, your worship associate for this month. As we have delved deeply into what it means to cultivate compassion. And what a month it has been. In the first service of this month, I confess that I entered the month's process viewing compassion as a feel-good, easy-to-digest theme. Then, much like Alice, as she slipped through the looking glass, I found aspects of myself each week that I had not brought to consciousness before. It moved me along an unexpectedly powerful, moving, and often challengingly rich experience. Our journey took us to the adventure of talking to strangers, to the tender experience of allowing ourselves to enter into self-compassion, then to challenge ourselves to widen our scope of others to whom we offer compassion, even those who get under our skin. Perhaps good practice for the upcoming holiday gatherings. Now we're here today, centering on our focus on a service we're titling, You Gotta Be Kidding. Welcome to the E-Ride, And welcome to those of you who are here for the first time. Thank you for taking the courageous step over the threshold to this new experience. I suspect you've experienced some of the UUCM welcome already. It's pretty profound. And welcome to you who have tasted our fruits a few times, back and forth, and you come back. Welcome again. And for those of you who've crossed the threshold over and over time, over many months and years, our welcome for you will always stay fresh and alive because of your presence. This morning, may you find what you are looking for, whether you're in this room or in the chanting room or in the Zoom room or with us in the future through our YouTube channel. It is so good to be together.
I invite our intrepid pop-up choir that gathers for a single day, really a single hour. The pop-up choir offers music that was actually composed in the 1600s at a time when some of our religious ancestors in Poland were trying to live their values in the public sphere, and so were rejecting the idea that killing was ever justified. You can come away from the curtain too, it's okay, yeah. At their peril, our ancestors refused the requirement to wear a sword. Everyone was supposed to be part of the standing army. But to show their refusal, they would wear a wooden sword instead, or sometimes just a very ordinary stick. A little bit like inflatable costumes, perhaps, with some serious repercussions for them. The words of this song today, however, are from our era, by Nick Page and Nita Penfold. When will the fighting cease? When will we live in peace? When our love breaks boundaries. Of course, we can hear those words with traditional warring and violence in mind, lifting up the possibility that love can break and bridge both political and interpersonal boundaries. And in the context of this service, I invite us to hear it also as an internal conversation. When will the fighting, the struggle within us cease? When will we be able to live in peace within ourselves? Maybe when our love breaks through our own barriers, our own boundaries, our own resistance. As Gail moves the table with the stones, Jean Gilligan each Sunday, often anyway, comes before the service and gets a stone. so that it's in his hands for a good long while. The stone that represents everything that he's carrying in his heart invites him to think about the who and the what is mattering, what's bringing him joy, what's bringing him sorrow. So by the time he comes to put it in the bowl, it is infused, right, with all of that. Maybe it's a practice you want to try one of these days. Whether you do that or not, I'll invite us in the room to come take a stone. Let it, in that moment, represent all that you're holding, all that we may never know. I invite you to release it, to let it go into the bowl of water, symbol for so much, for all the things that hold us, this community and far beyond. If you're in Zoom, you have a chance to type into the chat some of what you carry, or if you want to do the equivalent of a stone, which doesn't name the specifics, you can type a 0 or an O, or perhaps an emoji in the chat. And Corey Silva, our lay pastoral care person today, will join me. If you're in the room and it works for your body, if you're coming this way, I invite you to come down the center aisle. If you're going that way, I invite you to go down the outside aisles. So this is our flow. That will help everyone. I invite you to, in this time, take on your practice, whether yours is a silent meditation or a time of prayer or a time simply to be still and aware of everyone around you. Let's hold each other as we acknowledge, as we honor, as we give witness to all that we hold. It will move right into Natalie's beautiful meditation right afterward.
Good morning. I invite you to take a deep breath. Whew. Feel your feet on the ground. This is a poem on and about the neck, something that's often not given much attention to unless it's calling our attention with pain. I invite you to pay attention to the quiet parts today. Learning to loosen, to come into strength. My neck, metallic, like the beginning of fall weather, formed under pressure, sits straining to be noticed, begging. Tense, muscle sinew, feels like bone almost. She wants to be touched. To loosen, I must breathe. Take a breath with me. In our throat, a passageway connected by the neck. Air into mouth, down to the lungs, out again, opens. I remember to touch gently, take hands upon skin, knead and nudge to allow space to move. My neck, oh my neck, wants to find flexibility, begs to find it, longing to be used, to turn, to kiss a partner hungrily or a child gently on their forehead. So I breathe. And the necessary crack forms where there was no space before. Fractures are important. A fracture that allows for expansion, change, growth, warmth to come in. Fascia stretches, air moves through. I lovingly braid sweetgrass, cedar, and pine needles up the sides of my throat to honor how much weight she has held. I tell her, look up, I'll hold you. Together, we offer our whole body containment that cannot be given by any outside source, no matter how strong their hands, no matter the possibility in them holding us. We wildly protect our throat and our voice, house our wandering nerve, serve as a generous tender of self. With this, we learn to loosen to come into strength.
I invite you with that loosened neck to rise gently in body or in spirit. Give your body a chance to move and to sing. Since early in the year, we've been lighting a candle to acknowledge our ongoing worry and concern for all that's happening at the national level. Compassion, resistance, and resilience are not unrelated to today's focus. In the spirit of learning to cultivate compassion for someone who has hurt us, I suggest that this morning we consider our candle of compassion, resistance, and resilience a candle of compassion, boundaries, and resilience. And that we light it and incorporate its presence in this hour in the spirit of compassion that does not excuse harm, but chooses to see humanity in everyone. Is there someone who would like to light this candle today? Candle of compassion, boundaries. Tyson. Thank you. Tyson, thank you. Every Sunday we come in with a lot. And sometimes we name that or focus on it more directly and sometimes not, so that we have some room to move over time. So if you were to make known in some form, whether that was nonverbal and physical or vocal in some way or in some other way, how you are today, how would you express that? What would that be for you? How are you today? Nancy. Mostly. Me too, most days these days. On this final Sunday of our theme, Cultivating Compassion, we broach the question of the limits of compassion by asking, how can we practice compassion toward those who have harmed us without dismissing justice, accountability, or our own pain? In other words, without abandoning ourselves. Or if we bring that question in close here, how do we find compassion beyond the wound? How do we find compassion beyond the wound? I want to approach this with tenderness, aware that the scale of what I'm naming today, which is toward the beginning side of this practice, may not serve the depth of your particular pain or wound. I invite you to let whatever portion of today serves you to serve you, and encourage you to honor whatever self-care and protectiveness you may need in this hour for your own well-being. The question, how do we find compassion beyond the wound, is a question that's been fed by the progression this month toward deeper and deeper forms of compassion, and by a quote that Marlene Bottenfield raised when Gail and Marlene and I met to imagine this month of services. The beloved Vietnamese Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh taught that to look deeply into the suffering of those who have caused us to suffer is a miraculous gift. Gift? Marlene asked. And thus our title today, You've Got to Be Kidding. Also, I think a suggestion from Marlene too, right? Yeah. It's easy to talk about compassion when life is gentle, and I prefer that life is gentle, by the way. When people around us are kind, when disagreements are mild, when wounds are small and heal quickly. But compassion becomes a very different thing when we are hurt, truly hurt by someone else's words, actions, or betrayal. Several recent conversations with some of you come immediately to mind, immediately to heart. It can be difficult or feel impossible to call up empathy and understanding when we are hurt. And so the invitation stretches us outward toward the edges of our compassion. I'll name that I don't feel particularly skillful in this regard, at least not yet. I find that I do soften and that compassion does gradually work its way in, but usually over a good long time after a deep hurt. It's time that's doing most of the work. It's actually the time, the distance that helps. And my active attempts to practice finding compassion for someone who has hurt me deeply or has hurt others also is rather slow acting. It's a little at a time. When someone harms us, compassion can feel not only impossible, but even wrong. It can feel like excusing harm or betraying our own pain. And yet, if our Unitarian Universalist faith, if our Unitarian Universalist grounding is to mean anything, it must have something to say in these hardest moments, because that is when compassion, real, deep, transformative compassion, has its greatest power. Compassion is itself a kind of resistance and a form of resilience. This month we've been encouraging the simple compassion that opens up our hearts toward talking to strangers, making eye contact and small talk, recognizing our shared humanity. We've invited much more challenging self-compassion, moving contrary to our human hardwiring to treat ourselves with warmth and kindness and loving acceptance as we would a dear friend. And last Sunday's powerful service invited us to cultivate compassion toward uncomfortable or irksome or seemingly opposing others by recognizing some of the ways those others are, in fact, just like us, with similar wants and similar needs. We gave all of these time and focus knowing that they are all lifelong practices, knowing that compassion is not something we acquire once and for all, but rather a skillfulness that we cultivate continually so that we might be able to bring it at our best to even the hardest moments, when our UU commitment to see the inherent worth and dignity in every person, including ourselves, is really challenged. Recently in a training meeting, a group of us heard someone share, in essence, that she was determined not to let Donald Trump prevent her from loving him. This is someone who very much does not agree with Trump. She said that there is nothing he can do that could keep her from loving him. That getting her not to love him is not within his power. Just like here, the audible gasps in the room. The gasps upon hearing this had that powerful and particular quality. They were the kind of gasps that are released involuntarily when someone suddenly glimpses an extraordinary and previously unimagined and unexpected vista that opens up for a moment. It was that kind of gasp. It was the sound of longing mixed with, oh, is that possible? Admittedly, these were people who are actively working to cultivate their compassion. It was a striking moment. Today we bring self-compassion and compassion for others together and link them. So to crack open the door to where we're headed this morning, the wisdom of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, who once preached, we must recognize that the evil deed of the enemy neighbor, the thing that hurts, never quite expresses all that they are. The evil deed of the enemy neighbor, the thing that hurts, never quite expresses all that they are. An element of goodness may be found even in our worst enemy. To some that will seem naive, but in reality it's a hard, deep, demanding, and really heart-preserving truth. Though we haven't and always lived it, it is also a truth at the center of both Unitarianism and Universalism. One of the key reasons that both traditions and their forebears, our forebears, left the dominant forms of Christianity of their day. in the 1500s, the 1600s, the 1700s, the 1800s. Unitarians rejected the idea that humans are inherently depraved and that people's eternal destination, heaven or hell, is predetermined by God and that there's nothing you can do about it. They insisted instead that every human and humanity in general is born inherently good and has the capacity always to grow and become better and better, is always redeemable. Universalists rejected the idea that an all-powerful, loving creator God would ever send anyone to eternal punishment in hell and insisted instead that everyone, ever, is already saved, already welcomed home into heaven. God is love, they insisted, absolute love. Or as we might say these days, love is at the center, at the very center. Each of our traditions insists, as Dr. King named, that an element of goodness may be found in even our worst enemy. I say that today's focus brings self-compassion and compassion for others together because, of course, compassion does not ask us to stay silent or still in the face of harm, or to tolerate abuse or to let go of accountability. When we are hurt, our first and natural instinct is to protect ourselves, and rightly so. Boundaries are holy. To say no to abuse, to step away from those who cannot treat us with respect, these are acts of courage and self-respect, self-compassion. Neither is compassion about forgetting or not feeling hurt or forgiving before we are ready. Compassion is about choosing not to be consumed by bitterness, to not be consumed by vengeance. It's about refusing to let hatred and fear become the primary language we speak. Compassion says, I will not let your actions define my spirit. I will not mirror your harm back to you. I always appreciate being reminded of Zen Buddhist Joan Halifax's wisdom regarding the importance of having a strong back and a soft front. She teaches that too often we have a defended, shielded front and a rather undeveloped spine. She says that if we strengthen our backs, metaphorically speaking, and develop a spine that's flexible and sturdy, then we can risk having an open front that's soft. She calls this the place of choiceless compassion, a strong back and a soft front. The place, she says, where these two meet, the strong back and the soft front, is the brave and tender ground in which to root our caring deeply. So, how do we find compassion beyond the wound? Here's one path. By practicing 3 of the important and doable disciplines and practices we've been raising already this month, and that many of you already practice, I know. I say this with a memory from years ago of a congregant who came up to me after service and said, I really don't think I need to learn anything new. I'm really wanting to learn to practice what I already know. This was a person who had lived many, many years. Said, I don't feel like I need to learn something new. I need to learn to practice what I already know. And that's part of what religious community offers, right? We remind each other. We encourage each other. It's not that we don't know necessarily. So we need some help staying with it or getting into it. So if we're seeking to find compassion for someone who has hurt us for the sake of our own hearts and minds and souls, we might try this. Familiar. Move to curiosity instead of judgment, if we can. If we're trying to cultivate compassion despite harm, it helps to remember that every act of harm begins in some wound or many wounds. A wound of fear, of shame, of ignorance, of insecurity, of abuse, of intolerance. This is Thich Nhat Hanh's invitation. This doesn't excuse harm. It can help explain it, maybe. And some will rightly point out that an explanation is not needed and that trying to find an explanation can sometimes lead us away from our own well-being, from our own generous tending of self, as Natalie put it. And there's a way that trying to understand harm can begin to loosen its hold on us, and that's the point. The attempt to understand helps loosen its hold on us. The practice is to ask ourselves some variation of this question. What pain or story might have led them here? What pain or story might have led them here? It's an attempt to see the wound beneath the harm, if we can. To look deeply into the suffering of those who have caused us to suffer. It's a miraculous gift, Thich Nhat Hanh says, because even if we can't know what pain or story or life reality might have led them to cause harm, even if we're simply speculating or making up an answer, the miraculous gift is that the question itself, the act of asking the question, softens the heart and begins to release us. It's not about the answer. It's about the asking, the wondering, the curiosity. What a payoff to loosen something in us. What pain or story might have led them here? A starting place. Coupled with creating or maintaining boundaries with kindness. Again, compassion does not mean allowing harm to continue. It means setting limits without hatred. Setting limits without the energy and intent of retribution or vengeance. Sometimes our fury at someone else is supercharged by our own getting down on ourselves for not protecting ourselves and prioritizing our own well-being. Sometimes that fuels our own anger, our inability to have that strong back before we offer a soft front. Setting a boundary can be really painful, really hard, but no can be the most compassionate word we ever speak for the sake of others and ourselves. No can be the most compassionate word we can ever speak. Create or maintain boundaries with kindness. And coupling those two with the third, which is to release, if we can, through our own ability to empathize, through our own empathy. And this is the alchemy of the Buddhist metta, or loving kindness meditation. As with moving to curiosity, when we wish someone well, even silently, when we wish well to someone who's hurt us, we gradually free ourselves from the grip of the harm. It's important to realize here that compassion is not something we give to the other person. Compassion is what we give to the part of ourselves that refuses to be consumed by bitterness. Compassion is the gift we give to ourselves so we're not consumed. Move to curiosity instead of judgment. Create boundaries with kindness. And release through empathy, through wishing well. So, if you're willing, let's practice. While you're in such good company, in particular, in the hope that doing this or sparking this thought might, at some point, free us, even just a little. So, I invite you, and I have to pull up my computer because I forgot to bring my printout. I invite you to settle into your body, to let yourself find the place that your body feels good in the chair you're at or where you're standing. I invite you to notice where your body meets the world, in particular at the moment, maybe where your body meets the floor or meets the chair. The various places. What does it feel like? What quality of feeling does that have? While still there, I invite you to take a few deep breaths through your nose, in and out through your mouth. Still aware of that chair. A breath in, out through the mouth. One more breath in and out through the mouth. If you're comfortable doing so, I invite you to let your eyes close. And if not, of course, to leave them open. I invite you to let arise in your thoughts, in your mind, the image, the actual image of a person who has upset you recently. See who comes to the surface. Someone who has upset you recently. They could have angered you or wronged you. Could be a friend, a family member, or even someone you don't know. Maybe they lied to you. Maybe they cut you off in traffic. It can be someone you've already forgiven or someone you've not forgiven. And I suggest choosing someone who hasn't seriously scarred or hurt you. That is work for a deeper time, if you're ready for it. Who's upset you recently? See this person in your mind's eye, with no right or wrong way to picture them. Whatever's the easiest way for you to picture them is the way to picture them. You could visualize that person sitting in front of you. You can imagine their face. You can even imagine the moment they upset you if it's not too painful. It's important to know that if you're struggling with this or if it's feeling too emotional, you could decide to visualize someone else. Who comes to mind? Who comes to heart? Now that you have this person in mind, ask yourself, speculate, make an empathy guess. What pain or story or life experiences might have led them to the way they behaved? Might have. Which of their important needs in life may have remained unmet? Perhaps early on, perhaps recently. Which of their needs you have some sense might have been unmet? The answer in your mind and heart is less important than the asking. What pain might have led them there? And not knowing for certain, but having asked yourself about the possible reasons underneath the behavior that harmed you, and without excusing the harm, is there a compassionate boundary, an important no that feels important to set? Even if only for the time being. A no that is compassionate to you and your well-being. See this person in your mind's eye. What words can you imagine saying to them to name that boundary? What actions or steps can you imagine yourself taking to set a boundary with kindness? Again, see this person, and this time, imagine sending wishes of well-being to them. Wishing them well, and if it feels right, to say it out loud in your mind to them. May you be happy. My wish for you is that you be happy. Picture them hearing that, receiving that wish. Imagine the look on their face or the change in their expression. Remembering that everyone wants to be happy, even if their actions are selfish, misguided, or hurtful. Ultimately, most people do the things they believe will make them happy. Again, say aloud in your mind to them if it feels right. May you be alive, engaged, and joyful. May you experience inner peace and ease. May you be free from suffering. Picture them receiving your wishes and imagine how they might feel. You might have your own words and wishes for them. Feel free to tell them things that resonate with you. If you're not sure what that might be, you can continue to say, may you be happy. I wish for you that you be happy. Take a moment to feel how it is to wish these things for them. Allow yourself to sense the wishes for them emanating from you and connecting you to them. Allow yourself to wish these things despite how they made you feel. Whether or not they seem able to receive them. And finally, begin to send warm, kind, soothing wishes for well-being to yourself. You might aloud in your mind begin to say, oh, may I be happy. I wish for myself that I be happy. May I not accept the harm itself, but the truth that I feel hurt. May I be free from anger and fear and worry. May I experience inner peace and ease. May I be alive, engaged, and joyful. May I be free from suffering. I invite you to notice gently that you're still in your chair, or standing or lying where you are. Your body is still in contact with the air, with your clothing, with the ground, floor. I invite you to let your eyes open slowly and gently. To seek the spark of humanity and worth in someone who has caused us pain is to say, you are more than the worst thing you've done. And come to think of it, so am I. You are more than the worst thing you've done. And equally true, so am I. This is the self-compassion coupled with compassion for another, to which both our faith traditions call us. And our world is so hungry for this kind of compassion. Chances are, so are we. May our love break boundaries. Perhaps first of all, within ourselves. to close and to bless this time, a prayer for cultivating compassion when it feels difficult, by the Reverend Michelle Collins.
Spirit of community, we name the truth. There are people who make love feel impossible, who push every button we didn't know we had, who seem almost designed to test the very limits of our humanity. Our hearts contract around these relationships like fists, protecting old wounds that never quite healed. We itemize their faults, build cases for our justified anger, forget that they too were once children who needed tenderness. Grant us eyes to see past the armor to the wounds beneath. Help us recognize that cruelty is often just pain that has nowhere else to go. That the hardest people to love are frequently those who most desperately need it. This does not mean accepting harm or abandoning boundaries, but may we find the fierce grace to hold both protection and compassion, remembering that even the most difficult souls are traveling their own mysterious journey toward healing. When love feels impossible, help us choose dignity anyway. When understanding fails, let kindness remain.
So may we be.
Yes, let kindness remain and take root in us as we journey day by day through this challenging time. How fitting it is that 50% of our offering this month goes to the Shared Plate partner of Sierra Roots, whose work creates community through services and support to people so often marginalized because of the circumstances of their lives. You've been seeing them all month through the tender portraits of Deanne Donnelly's Faces of Change project. She met them when she served on the board of Sierra Roots, as it happens. Their faces speak louder than any words. The other 50% of your gifts that you drop into the basket support the ongoing costs of this healing, energizing, inspiring community. Each gift, small or large, makes a difference. Thank you. Greeters. Thank you. We dedicate these gifts to building the strength each of us needs to find the fierce grace to hold both protection and compassion, remembering that even the most difficult souls are traveling their own mysterious journey toward healing.
Pop-up choir. Here's the testament to what you just did. People did not clap. Right? You brought us to a moment. Thank you. Thank you. Linda, great to have you at the piano. Thanks for your patience and flexibility today. Yeah. Gail, thanks for being worship associate all month long. Paul and Cypress and Randy today, thank you for being on the AV team. Eileen, always as our host online. Autumnal, beautiful offerings from Shanti on the altar up here. Our greeters who greet people so well and warmly, Jim and Gwen and Jean today. Corey, thanks for being our lay pastoral care associate. Where are you, Corey? Are you still in the room? There's Corey. Oh, she's back there. Yeah. Shannon and Lindsay are with our children. Please thank them when you see them. And Laura, Suzanne, Susan, and Joyce, at the very least, were part of the refreshments. Thank you. Next week, we had to do services. Yeah. A 9 o'clock and 11. We'll all figure it out together. But an extra twist next week is the time change. So you get an extra hour. So Kern said he's going to be alternating between services, the 9 and 11, so he gets to see people over time. I invite you to do that in the way that works for you. The goal, of course, is to open up some space, right? So that I was here last week, not involved, and when you walk in the back of the room, even though there are technically chairs available, like the thought of a new person coming in and trying to find a seat in the midst of that. So I'm really glad we'll be opening up some space, ideally for each other. UU 101 next Sunday after the second service, this time, so a chance to find out a little bit more about this whole place and this tradition. So please join us. You are welcome to join us for that. And is there more? Always the website. We have an e-newsletter that comes out always there. And Paul did this very kind thing of having a puzzle made of Joel Houtman's mandala up here. And he's taking orders. Paul will be at the table for those who are interested in. I'm sorry? Oh, yeah, thank you. And next week is our annual All Souls service where we remember those who have died. We invite you to bring a photo, a memento to place on the altar just for the duration of the service. It's not something you leave here. So something to represent who you might be, the various people you might be remembering. So we invite you to bring that next week to our All Souls Remembrance Service. Thanks, Beth. And with that, I invite us to rise one final time to sing together, answering the call of love. It's an all-purpose song, right? It's always about the call of love in some form. Today about this deep work of trying to love those people who have a hard time loving, maybe. Of the Spirit, faith, hope, and love abide, and so every soul is blessed and made whole. The truth in our hearts is our guide. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together, beat as one, emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim, we are answering the call of love. There is a Zen saying, to hold on to anger is to punish yourself for the mistakes of others. To hold on to anger is to punish yourself for the mistakes of others. Compassion, our concern for the alleviation of suffering, frees us from that punishment. Perhaps in this long, slow work of healing, compassion may reach the one who harmed us, but even if it doesn't, compassion will already have changed us. May we go forth from this place not untouched by hurt, but transformed by the power of compassion. May we live boldly, forgive wisely, and live gently, so that our lives become instruments of peace in a wounded world. So may we be. So a reminder that at 12:30 there's a chance to explore those conversations to have with family about what you want to happen. If you can't make decisions or at the end of life, 5 wishes, feel free to stick around for that. And meanwhile, we will send each other on our way with these good words to each other. Together, let us carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again. We see you next Sunday for 2 services and a time change, and remembering our ancestors when we move to the theme of gratitude.